So the world illusion that we often hear about is really our notions about things, and these notions we consider to be real. So notions of other people, notions of objects, notions of relationships, they're all notions. You might decide that notions are real or not real. What is the existence status of a notion? Well, we don't need to worry about it really. We just need to understand its notional nature and then actually look at what is going on rather than our ideas about what is going on. This is a distinction that most of us seem unable to make, to differentiate between our ideas about things and how things really are. How things really are is exceptionally simple. But we've lost that simple way of looking at things. We try to understand things, but we try to understand things by the very mechanism which is causing our ignorance, our non-wisdom. So if we can look beyond our notions, what do we find? When rightly investigated and perceived, they are found to be the Supreme Self. But when they are perceived through the mind, the conditioned jiva arises. And the conditioned jiva is our ego sense, the conditioned jiva. When we look into this jiva, when correctly investigated and looked into, is in fact the Supreme Self. And this is a proper appreciation. We can look into things, but we might still filter it through our emotional tone. But if we can look into it as openly as possible, we find it is what is referred to here as the Supreme Self. When it is grasped by the mind, then it appears to be the jiva, subject to all sorts of change, birth, decay, etc. They who have the direct experience of the cosmic being do not perceive the diversity, even when their eyes behold the world. In their mind, even while it functions, there is no disorderly movement of thought or movement in different directions. Their mind is therefore no mind in which there is non-movement of thought. Their behaviour is non-volitional, like a dry leaf in wind. It's not a particularly appealing simile, is it? Being like a dry leaf in the wind. You're just getting blown about. On the other hand, there is absolutely no cares, no anxieties, no worries, no insecurities, nothing to hang on to. So there is non-movement of thought. This is in the sense of the attention being hijacked by our emotional landscape. There's no inner turmoil. There's no inclination for the attention to be looking for something else. There's no looking for gratification. The ignorant fool who is bound to psychological conditioning extols scripturally enjoined action because he is not spiritually awakened. We need to be very careful with people who bang on about scriptures and how we should all be following scriptures. These are usually people of tremendous insecurities. His senses prey upon their objects. The wise one, however, restrains the senses and remains centered in the self. There is no formless gold, nor Brahman totally devoid of manifestation. And this is a point. We're often told that there's only gold. There's not a golden bracelet, it's simply gold. But gold has to have a shape. So there we have it. Brahman too needs to have a shape. It's formless in the sense that it's not any particular shape. But it's still a shape, it's still manifestation. So the infinite consciousness takes some kind of shape, some kind of form. But it's not any particular form. It's all forms. So it's in this sense that it's formless. However, emancipation is the removal of the concept of creation or manifestation. So it's not about something manifesting as something else. It's only what is. At the conclusion of this cosmic world cycle, there is, during the period of dissolution, one utter darkness covering the entire creation. Even so, in the eyes of the wise ones, the whole universe is enveloped in the one reality of Brahman. So the whole notion of a manifestation does not arise. The ocean is one homogeneous unit in spite of diversity and motion within itself. There is but one Brahman which includes all this diversity and motion. So just as we talk about the ocean, which includes all the various forms that the ocean takes, from little ripples to currents to tidal waves, this is the same with Brahman. It's the same with dreams. We talk about dreams as a homogeneous thing, don't we? A piece of wood in a dream isn't different to a cup in a dream. We have no problem with understanding them both as of the same dream nature. In fact, anything which appears in a dream, even a person, living things, we've got no problem with describing them as of the same nature. It's all a dream. It's homogeneous. And it's the same with this reality. It's homogeneous. It's of the nature of Brahman, the one reality. There is the world within the ego sense and ego sense within this creation. The two are inseparable. The jiva sees this creation within itself, without any cause or motivation. So this is the jiva that has realized the nature of the Supreme Self. The bracelet is gold. The bracelet is not seen as bracelet, it ceases and gold alone is. Thus the seers of truth do not live, though living, do not die, though dying, do not exist, though existing. Their actions are non-volitional functions of the body. So their awareness is awareness of the Supreme Self. Their awareness is no longer identifying with limited notions of creation, of manifestation, of form, of ego sense, of an external world. Awareness is identified with itself, within which everything is happening.